Should I mention that you still have been logged in Twitch on my computer when I came back?
Well, neat.
I want to point out at this moment that I barely abused my power.
What did you do?
Nothing. Hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast. AnY and Keyframe wonder about random drivel. And yeah, hi Keyframe. How are you after 2 weeks of absence? Or 1 week actually, but a 2 week of time span in between.
What did you do to my Twitch? I have a legit question there.
Nothing. I logged out and switched to mine.
Oh, okay. You're not creative. I'm more disappointed you didn't do anything.
I needed my own Twitch and I was like, why is there Keyframe there? Click, click, go into mine again. Because I needed to do something on Twitch. That was the reason why I was on the page.
Ah, well, okay. But no, after a week of absence, it's, I could feel the grip of con season leave my throat. It's not choking me. And I feel free. I feel calm and sanguine to know that I don't have to go to another con till the end of March. That's not completely true. I have to go to MagFest in January, but I don't need to Vendetta Con till at the end of March. But
the weird moment when going to a con actually turns into work and therefore is something you don't...
I don't dread it, but like, you know.
But yeah, you think of, thank goodness I have a break from cons, while other people are like, oh no, I want to go to another con.
I get that, but the thing is, I don't mind going to cons. I like going to them. I like vending, but keep in mind, Cider Fest and EQLA were like 2.5 weeks away from each other. The crunch time between those two was terrifying. But
yeah, talking about cons and getting stuff off your throat, I didn't.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Fun fact.
Do we want to preface with the first time you got sick? Because that was
we didn't get to talk about it since it was before last weekend and therefore it was never on the show now, was it?
Yeah, let me tell you about little sick ANY and the Keyframe who cared for him. the whole thing perpetuating that I treat this guy like a princess. He messaged me while he was at work being like, hey, I'm feeling under the weather, and I'm like, cool. Then he comes home, he's bundled up in like 3 layers of clothing and putting on more clothing, and he's shivering at his chair, and he's like, this ain't good. And I'm like, have you eaten? And he's like, no, I tried to, but I couldn't. And I'm like, go lie down. Sitting up probably isn't good for you. And he's like, fine. The thing is, he didn't fight with me during any of this.
This was a bad sign.
This is a bad sign. No, the thing that happened before, it was like, you should try drinking broth or soup or something. He's like, well, I do have a can. He poured it out, and he's like, Chrissy, is it supposed to smell like this? And I'm like, yeah, why? Because it's making me feel ill. He was at the other end of the kitchen, trying to not smell the soup being cooked.
I was like, could you heat it up? Maybe I can eat it once it's heated up.
And I was like, sure, go lie down.
But yeah,
he couldn't. The smell was still too much.
Yeah, if you guys know, like, when you smell something, it's like, oh, it's just too intense for you, that you have to turn away from the smell, because it's not making you throw up sick, but giving you this whoa feeling. This basically was it for me.
Yeah, so I had to make him like chicken and unseasoned chicken and rice, trying to get him to eat something because everything was too intense. And I go into the bedroom. This poor guy is crippled, like in the fetal position in the bed, sleeping.
Very manly and sexy, I want to point out.
Oh yeah, totally. And he just like, and this was the case for a good day and a half. He was like, I'm not going into work. And I'm like, yeah, you're not. And then I got sick, but less sick than that. And we had an argument about who was patient 0 in this case. But but it went away really quickly after 2 days, and then we flew at 6 a.m. to California.
California.
Oh, also, since we didn't get to say, fuck Paris, getting onto the plane.
I want to still point out, I'm pretty sure this is not Paris's fault, but America's fault.
Probably, but no, the thing was, we were supposed to be in the air by 9:30ish, 10. We didn't even get fully boarded till 10:30 or 10:45.
We had 40 minutes delay on liftoff.
And why is that? Because
Why?
they individually interviewed every single passenger about the contents of their bag, being like, did you pack it yourself? Is there anything for anyone else in there? Is there anything that can be used for a weapon? First of all, our bags are already checked and probably have gone through the scanners. I could easily lie.
Yeah, and but it were really paranoid questions like, do you have a laptop or other technical device? Yes, in my backpack. Is it yours? Yes, it's mine. Has it been to a repair station recently? No. I mean, this was already a stretch since this is actually my company's one, and I believe I had it in repair a month ago, but nobody knew that I was taking it to America. But did you get any messages to deliver in America? This was not France's or Paris's fault. This was America going completely nuts on their paranoia.
Yeah, it was. But it just reminded me of when you were getting your ESTA or something last year.
Yeah.
And are you a terrorist?
I mean, I
yes
picked.
Or no?
Yeah, they have 100 yes and no questions on this ESTA form, which is a form you as a not American citizen have to fill in order to be allowed to travel to America for 2 years or something, because it will be outdated in a few months or something. The thing is, I picked one of the lesser obvious questions, not the are you a spy, have you ever murdered people, do you plan to murder people. I answered all those with no. But I picked one of the not so crucial questions. I was like, just for shits and giggles, I click yes. And instantly there was a pop-up window being like, are you sure you want to click yes? If you click yes, we cannot permit you. No? What is the purpose of this form? Please, tell me somebody. What is the purpose of this form if this form doesn't want you to say yes? Imagine, first of all, which terrorist would be like, oh yeah, I totally plan blowing up people. Yes. Who? Tell me. Who?
What terrorist sounds like that?
The terrorist who is stupid enough to click yes in this online form. But then imagine you have the one honest terrorist who is like, oh well, I like blowing up thousands of people for my religion, but I am honest, I will not lie. And then he gets confronted with this question. Then there's a pop-up window being like, are you really sure we cannot allow you into the country if you say yes? Oh, what a dilemma. It's stupid. And these interviews we got there at the airport were basically the same. It's like, do you have a weapon with you? No. If I would have a weapon with me and I would have plans with it, I probably would still say no. It's
exactly.
You said you are a completely unsuspicious, unarmed person. That's exactly what a terrorist would say. It's the stupidity and pointlessness behind those inconveniences. And I'm not even talking about taking off your fucking shoes at an American airport. It's stupid. No terrorist gets caught by taking off their fucking shoes. My goodness, this was probably more than
You're gonna be okay? You got a little bit red in the face.
I'm not entirely sure. This is the stupidity of it just came up.
Let's talk about a funny thing that happened at the airport. So I got out of customs faster than this guy because, well, American, going into America. And so they got our luggage from France, and they were moving stuff. And I already heard that for other flights, they were moving stuff to, the floor and everything. And I was like, it may take a while for Max to get here, so I'm going to take his luggage for him and have him with me, make it convenient so we could just go.
Switch to my perspective.
Yeah.
Switch to my perspective.
Yeah.
So I come out of customs. I had to stand in line twice because I already ranted about how stupid this is America. So I already stood in 2 lines waiting until I reached the carousel, and I was like, well, keyframe is probably here. So the first thing I do was like looking for keyframe. Going all the way around the carousel, looking, even though there were not many people.
I don't believe that you did that because I was right there.
I did. So I went around the entire carousel, looking among the few people who were actually standing and waiting there right around the carousel for keyframe. Didn't see her standing there. So I actually was like, okay, my luggage not here. There was a gigantic line for the actual customs baggage claims, whatever control. And I was like, okay, going up and down the line, checking if she maybe took all the suitcases because we think alike enough. We think alike enough. I had the idea like, if she can't, I didn't want to believe that I beat her there. Like being a visitor to the country versus a citizen, I didn't believe that I could have beat her. But I was like, okay, so maybe she picked up the luggages and is already standing in this gigantic line. Because this is a gigantic line, she maybe wants to save time. I checked the entire line. Okay, no keyframe, whatever, reality broke apart. Anyways, where is my suitcase? Where is my suitcase? Where is my suitcase? They started to take the remaining suitcases from our flight off the carousel, and I asked the guy who did this, sorry, are those the remaining ones from the Air France flight? And he was like, yeah, those 12 here are the last. My luggage. So, sorry, sir, I'm missing my luggage, and I was already starting.
Let's switch back to my perspective for a moment.
I guess so.
So I'm sitting here, okay, the thing that I didn't realize is that there were 2 escalators at this baggage claim. One that the American citizens go through, the other that the foreign people go through, apparently. Because I was sitting right next to this far, I guess it would be left escalator. And I'm sitting here with both bags, kind of just, I'm trying to text him on WhatsApp, being like, maybe he got connected to the LAX Wi-Fi or something. And then I'm just confused at what's going on. And then I see I got a voicemail from him.
Like
and
calling.
I'm listening, and he's like, oh, hey, Chrissy, it's Max. So they lost my luggage, so I'm trying to find, I'm filing a report right now, and I'm like, shit, no. And I get up, I'm grabbing both bags, and I'm looking around, walking, and I see Max with a little clipboard, and I'm like, are you talking about this bag? And he looks over at me, looks at the bag, and looks up at me. And it wasn't a look of anger or anything, more like, where were you? Just like incredulously, just like, okay, I don't think we need this report anymore. He gave the clipboard back to the guy, and I'm just kind of standing there like, well. And that was my perspective of the whole situation.
But yeah, apparently you have found seats right like 10 meters, 20 meters off the actual carousel with actually nothing blocking the view.
No, that was not the case. Here was the carousel.
Yeah.
Like right here.
And the escalator right next to it.
Escalator right next to it, and there was I was sitting there looking directly at the escalator to see if you would come down.
And that's probably the problem. You looked at the escalator, so you did not look to the carousel. I came from the other direction. I only checked people around the carousel and had my eyes on the carousel because I expected my luggage to come. I never looked behind me. And you never looked in front of you.
This is some American Tale shit right there.
Yeah. Oh, and also, damn it, I closed it. I believe I know. I believe to know which actor I believe to see at the airport. Which I'm now pretty sure wasn't the actor I saw.
Okay.
But at least I now know who I thought I saw.
Okay.
So this is probably a thing everybody has when they travel through LAX. Because it's Los Angeles, the big one, the international one, so probably in hindsight, I feel like this guy who was, I remember I once saw this and this actor somewhere. No, it wasn't. No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. No, really, you didn't see him. I have the feeling that this is kind of that anecdote. I can't find him anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But, so yeah, we got that done. We finally got to our hotel. Watched Miraculous Ladybug.
Hey, spoilers.
I'm not saying our opinions on it. That's for media. And then the next day, we got picked up by the Abbey Roadie, Lauren,
Yay.
and we went to Humble Potato, which was awesome. And we tortured Max for like an hour and a half by only having the Beatles radio station play every time we were in the car.
Which was okay. Oh, but we went to this Chinese American food, Japanese American food place.
That's what
Humble
I said.
Potato. Yeah, great place.
Yeah. And then the con happened, and I really don't have much to say about I can talk about some interesting characters that came up to my table. A lot of them I don't like.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you are vending at a con, interactions with those kind of people are probably the only real events to tell.
I mean, there were nice ones. I'll get the nice ones out of the way because the other ones are funny in my anger. The coolest one though was there was this family that came up with a mom, a dad, and two little girls who was dressed as like Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash, and it was adorable. And they bought this mom bought these girls $45 in merch. And they were like, oh, we want something to get signed by Lauren Faust because she was there. And they bought one of my little Twilight cutouts and stuff, and they were like, okay, we have to stop to go get money because my card reader wasn't working because my phone was dead.
Because somebody did not remind me that they need the power station, which is mine and which is still in your possession.
No. I told you, go get the power station when you go up to put things away in your room, and then you got sidetracked by Dark Overlord.
This was before breakfast.
Uh-huh. What does that have to do with anything?
That you still have my power station.
I didn't have your power station at that point.
Then it is lost. Good. Yeah. I already calculated to get a new one anyways.
But no, point being, they came back, they bought the stuff, and then they came back again to not only show that they got the stuff signed by Lauren Faust and Andrea Lipman and say they loved the artwork and stuff. They recorded a video of Lauren Faust seeing the cutout and the design stuff and being like, this looks beautiful, where did you get it? And that was my highlight of the con. I was like, yes, thank you very much.
Lauren did not come to your table personally afterwards?
None of the voice actors came to the table, so. But now to talk about some other interesting characters. There was this one guy who kept coming back. Took like a good 5 minutes each time to look through my portfolio and then leave without saying anything. And I'm like, you came back here 4 or 5 times. Buy something already. My patience is wearing thin. And then, Ambrose came to my table and bought some of my stuff, which was cool. And now he follows me on Tumblr. Then, the most aggravating one of the con, this fat guy passed my table, bumped into my displays, knocked almost half of my stuff over, which, keep in mind, this stuff is glass and paper.
I mean, one of the frames broke, didn't it?
Broke. One thing broke. The guy heard the crash, looked over, looked me right in the eye, and walked away. Yeah, that was great. That was great. But overall, the con was good. It's just fun to point out those little faux pas. But overall, I mean, from what I've heard from everyone else, it wasn't a very active con. It was more like everyone just kind of went on vacation, and the con was the excuse to go.
Well, at least from my point of view, definitely. I mean, I was at one panel because it was held by a friend. Was I even at the second one? Oh
We
yeah,
also
the
went to
anthology. We were also at anthology, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, only 2 panels. So also keep your eyes out for the second panel because cartoons
I
asked me on the
see.
stage again.
At the course of this con, I've seen ANY dab more times than I think I ever needed to in my lifetime. He fully embraced it by the end of the con and was just doing it with people. And we had a whole discussion about unironic versus ironic dabbing. It went into a deep place, and we found that Toon is an unironic dabber, and the rest of us are ironic ones, and thus we are the superior beings. But with con stuff, we also get con swag.
Oh, but I finally found him. So I believe that the person I might or might not have seen at LAX is Thomas Brody Oh, wrong one. Thomas Brody Sangster.
Oh, a blonde guy, huh?
Yes.
That's not blonde.
Dirty blonde, curly, whatever.
No, Max. I don't think that's who you saw.
I'm pretty sure that's who I saw. Wait, is there
I don't think that's...
Okay, no, he looked more like his Game of Thrones self. I might or might not have seen him, and I will tell my grandchildren if I ever have some, or maybe my grandnieces. This sounds more realistic. My grandnieces and nephews. One day at the LAX, I saw Thomas Brody something. I can't even remember the name. So the anecdote will probably not be that epic, but I still will tell it.
Grunkle ANY? Who the hell is that?
Back in my days, we had this show called Game of Thrones.
It's still going on. They haven't finished the books.
Burn!
But
also,
yeah, so
just keyframe, just FYI for you.
no, you're not even doing it right.
What?
You have to have your head fully like this, like you're sneezing into your.
Haha! Now we got keyframe dabbing on the screen.
I shouldn't feel ashamed. I dab a lot in my private life, and that sounds so bad. It sounds like I'm doing drugs, but no. Anyway, back to the subject. We have derailed this with dabbing. I got a bunch of con swag and fan art and stuff from fans. So fan art first, and pony neutralness will go out the window here. I got
only short, so everybody, you can stay tuned. Pony neutralness will be restored quickly.
Got some fan art from a good old Melody, who made a lot of art for us and even gave us roses at the end of the con. She's such a sweetie. So this little keyframe one that looks like Keyframe's drunk. And then we got one from Brogar.
Yeah, I've got this one as well.
Yes, I love this one. And then a gift that Miss Lauren got me from Mr. Tony Fleeks of Keyframe and Abby. And this is actually the first time that a comic artist has drawn a Keyframe, because I always, whenever I get stuff from from Tony or Andy or anyone, I always get other people and I never get myself.
Talking about.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody who is in this stream, commissioned this one from Tony.
I wonder who got that.
Oh, not Tony?
Yeah, it's Tony Fleeks.
Oh, it's Tony. Okay. Got the lighting. But yeah, my good little fursona, which has far too few representations.
And that's why I get you a bunch of stuff with it.
Thank you very much.
No problem, sweetie. No, another keyframe with longer hair, and then we get the fan art that made me like squeal out loud at an uncomfortably loud rate, which was also by Melody. Fan art of Abby, which makes me so happy. That made me so happy. I was like, ah! And then more fan art of Keyframe. I got a lot of Keyframe art at this con. It was more than I usually get.
Once again, proving that I am officially a has-been.
You're not a has-been. You didn't even announce you were going to the con.
Did you?
I did, because I was vending.
Good point. Good point.
But then another gift from Miss Lauren, which is not fan art. There was this Disney artist who had dinosaur versions of the main characters, and she got me Trixie because
I've been told about those.
Yeah, she got you Twilight.
Indeed.
The question is, this is hiding your power level enough. It just looks like a brightly colored dinosaur.
It's true.
And then no one got the pinky one, so I also got the pinky one. So I got. Oh, we were supposed to give this one to Zach.
Oops.
It's mine now. So thank you, Lauren, for 3 dinosaurs. And then
why did you get the Trixie one?
Because
they didn't have a Starlight.
No. She got Starlight. What?
Oh.
The reason why is at BronyCon, BabsCon.
But wouldn't
I got her from Silver Slinger this little friendship necklace that has a Trixie and a Starlight, and on the back it says "You're my bear."
Okay.
And I gave her the Starlight one because I said you're the Starlight to my Trixie, and so
fair enough.
So she gave me a Trixie to go with her Starlight.
Because I was kind of wondering, like, isn't Pinky the right one for you anyways? But okay, with this backstory, it
works for both. But and then the other one, this is my art, but Mike Vogel, who not only wrote for the show for like Heartswarming Tale and stuff, also wrote for the movie and wrote for Queen Novo in the movie. He saw this art on Twitter and said it made his day, and he signed it at the con, and that made me a little too giddy for my own good.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Will. And then finally, a gift from this little bastard down here to encapsulate the fact that we're both now Ladybug Trash.
Yeah.
Lady Bun and Fox Noir. Oh, I love this. We got matching posters. Indeed. We are garbage.
Yeah. I believe, I instantly bought 3, didn't I? No, did I only buy... What did I do?
You bought 2. You bought 2 and Claire bought 1.
Ah, okay.
Because Claire bought one for Lauren.
Yeah, we bought the last 3. So one of them is actually the one
display one.
Yeah, the display one. One of them was actually the display one.
Yeah, but thank you, sweetie. I love it. But and then after that we went to Disney.
I still have something.
Oh yeah, you got something from good old Ambrose.
Yeah, so I went by Ambrose booth, by the way, Ambrose Tumblr, I guess, down in the description, because that's where most of his stuff ends up, as far as I know. He doesn't upload frequently on DeviantArt, and I'm not sure that he has a fur affinity, so Tumblr is his best place to check him.
But anyway, to show your freaking trash waifu.
Indeed. So you see, I already have this Lyra here back there from Ambrose, and so I'm a fan of him, a long-time fan. I'm waiting for him to go more into the furry direction and do more furry stuff. Sadly, he's still... Like many artists who start out in a fandom, they have a hard time actually getting over the fandom because, well, they get commissioned for the fandoms, most of their viewers are there for the fandom, so it's harder for them to move on. I guess Keyframe can probably tell more first-hand experience about this. Then again, my YouTube is not different, so my non-MLP related stuff still has a hard time catching on. So yeah, I walked by his booth and I was like, damn it, I would like to have this Tempest one, but no, I'm not walking by. Basically, I walked by 3 times or something, and I was like, I will buy.
You became the type of vendor that I hate.
Huh?
You became the type of customer that I hate.
Yes, absolutely. Coming, checking, going. Coming back, checking again, going again. I believe I turned into every type. Oh, yeah, and then... Oh, no, right. So then I got it. I was like, okay, I buy it anyways, whatever. So I got it. I went to the others, Toon Critic and Co, and I was like, hey, look what I got. Showed it off, and Toon was like, oh God. And I'm like,
And
here,
want it?
have it, it's yours. And he like, happy. So, okay, I need to go back to Ambrose and buy another one for me. So I went back to Ambrose and he was not there. So I took a beeline to return later. Because I have been told by another artist that they totally love when they are at a convention to vend, for vending, that people only buy when they are there in person, right, Keyframe?
Yeah, it totally incentivizes us to take breaks and be healthy and not sit in one place for 8 hours to hope that we don't lose some sales that are integral to our career.
But you don't lose the sale. Those people who don't buy while you're not there are probably there, want to have the personal connection while buying, so the chances that they are come back at a later point in time are very, very high.
I would disagree. I have had many
I would agree, because I did buy it in the end.
Well, you are a weird person. And the one fact that you're a weird person is that you bought that.
Well, the poor little Lyra is alone back there, so she needs some company.
You ever put Scootaloo down there so she's actually, visible on frame?
Nee, but the thing to basically explain why I waited and returned later, because I bought it, I had a little bit of chit chat with him when I originally bought it, and then it was like going off and being able to return like, dude, I already lost it to a friend because they loved it so much. It is a nice compliment, and it's a thing of a fan of a fan connecting with somebody who they like. Who they look up to.
Yeah, I can see the reasoning there. However, I've had many of examples of people just not feeling right buying something when the actual artist isn't there, but they don't come back. So
okay, that's silly.
Yeah. Anyway, so the con happened, and then Disney. I mean, we could talk about the movie theater experience at Justice League. Oh. That was something.
I guess we should.
So we went to go see Justice League, and I'm not going to talk about my opinion of it yet.
That's a problem. Maybe we should keep the anecdote for later.
Yeah, but the point is, we met what is essentially the embodiment of a YouTube commenter.
Yes.
And it was, in and of itself, it was glorious. Stuff happened that wasn't glorious, but that whole concept in and of itself was. I stayed out of it. I was looking at the marquee for Coco. But I witnessed it from afar. But,
I witnessed this close up.
You were close up in the action.
Even so, I'm not entirely sure how it started. So yeah, we were there as a group of loud people that we are, of opinionated people, as we all are, because nearly all of us YouTubers. I don't know, was there anybody with us who was not a YouTuber? Maybe Steel.
I think Steel was the only one that's not a YouTuber,
yeah,
but he gives money to us opinionated people on Patreon.
So that we are opinionated. He's an enabler for us, basically.
He's proxy.
So yeah, we were standing there right around the corner from the restroom, which is probably the reason why there was this guy waiting for his girlfriend. And
the fact the guy has a girlfriend is amazing.
Well,
go on. Sorry, that was my anecdote.
Girls like the bad guy, I've been told.
I wouldn't know.
But yeah, so we were loud, we were critical about the movie, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I noticed this guy talking loud, or probably more like screaming in our directions. You are a bunch of assholes! Talking about a movie I liked and disliking it. So his argumentation was flawless. It was brilliant. So yeah, he had how did South Park pointed out so nicely? He had some sand in his vagina. This guy. not happy at all with us. So apparently
we're not going to go into the details of the aftermath of the situation, but he was interesting.
Yeah, and eventually, so it went a little bit back and forth, and eventually he brought my statement, which perfectly wraps up what the problem with this guy is, and a lot of people nowadays actually. Can I stick at it? Can I recall how the wording was? I'm afraid I can only paraphrase the wording, but it literally boiled down to: you have an opinion about a movie I liked, therefore he directly draws this causal. Huh?
Casual?
Not casual, causality. Like reaction, reasoning.
Yeah, okay.
So he draws this direct connection between the fact that we had an opinion on something he liked with us being dicks. You have an opinion on a movie I liked, therefore you are dicks. He said, maybe not literally therefore, but he said very directly, you have an opinion, ergo you are dicks. And I was like, dude, you literally just said we are dicks for having an opinion? Really? This is your stand? I asked him, like,
yes!
Is this really your argument that we are dicks for having an opinion?
And a typical calm ANY voice. Like, there was no fighting tone. It was just...
Well, it probably was my usual condescending says, but yeah, I was not screaming at him.
Yeah, but that's your normal tone of voice, so...
I was not screaming at him. I was really like, dude, you just said we are dicks for having an opinion.
Yep.
You see what you did there, right?
Yeah, so...
Then...
That happened.
Yeah, thankfully, then the girlfriend came out of the restroom and they shoot away... They were already the first employees at our site. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Should we call security?
Yeah, A+ to the employees at AMC and downtown Disney. They're good people.
Yeah, they are good people. They were there quickly, and even though they were basically clean up people, like with their little shovels and stuff, they were concerned. They got involved. 2 thumbs up. Good job there. And unironically, I know that it's very rare that something coming out of my mouth can be taken by face value, but no, they did good.
Yeah, and then the next day was Disney, which was a lot of fun. And don't worry, we'll get to that. We went to California Adventure, and we went on the Guardians ride, which was badass. And we went with the best crowd of people because all these people were like screamers, which just makes the drops ever so much more fun. We went on California Screamin' twice because it's a fun ass roller coaster.
As much as I love Guardians, I would still give first place for my personal favorite ride at this day to California Screaming.
Oh yeah, the California Screaming's awesome. We went on the Ferris wheel on one of the swinging seats, and it was a surprising revelation to some people that how much those things swing. Mm. You wouldn't think a Ferris wheel would be exciting, not a California Adventure. But let's fast forward to the evening where we were like, hey, Grizzly River Rapids, which is as you can guess, a water ride, only has a 5-minute wait period, and it looked really cool because there's a fog machine. It looked really cool and dark.
I believe it wasn't even necessarily a fog machine. It was natural fog mist from the water, and there were lamps, and so you had this foggy landslide slithering through water ride, slithering quietly.
Yeah.
I want to point out.
Yeah. So there was us two, Josh, Zach, and Steel Rail. We went on it, and it was so much fun in the dark of just figuring out who gets soaked the most.
And Josh Scorcher in this ride.
Oh yeah, me and and Josh were having the time of our lives. And there was this lovely Australian couple with us who played along to our insanity so well. Like, we started singing, "You spin me right round, baby, right round."
Because it was going
around.
around.
And it was fun. And we got off and we were like, let's do it again. Zach bailed.
Smart guy.
And we went on again with 2 other people, but it was still Steele, Josh, and us 2. This poor guy got soaked the most the second time. Like, literally, we hit a wave, and it just all went on him.
Steele,
and then there was
Josh?
one that hit me and went right in my shirt. Though I have to say, the one I feel the bad for is the one guy who was with one of the 2 guys who was with us, because there was a wave and it hit right in his crotch area of his pants and it looked like he pissed himself. But so it was fun. We didn't think about, and I made it a point the first time we went on there. Hey, let's take our jackets or the flannel that you had off, so we have something dry when we get off.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think about changing into those things. We just kind of put them over the wet clothing.
Yeah,
and we went to, and me and him went to Midway Mania, and we were in the middle of the line when Max is like, my muscles are tensing up because of the cold water. I should probably change into this shirt while we're in the middle of a 70-minute wait line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I soldiered through the line. We started to make workouts in the line to kind of keep our blood flow going.
We start squatting in the line,
yes.
Just like Sally going up, Sally going down.
To push and pull and grind the ground. Bring Sally up. Right.
I feel like we're concerning the people around us, but we were cold.
Yes, and it was not getting better for me. So yeah, after we came off the ride, I looked for the next restroom and I got rid of the t-shirt and only wore the flannel, but at this point in time it was already too late. I kept being cold the entire time. I didn't warm up anymore. My muscles still stayed completely tense. When we were back at the hotel, I basically locked myself into the bathroom for, 20 minutes or something.
For like 15 minutes, you were sitting in the shower on the ground, and I could just hear the water cascade over your face and everything because you were like this.
Yeah, more of the on the back, yeah. So
yeah, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, "Are you okay? Did you fall asleep in there?" No answer. He put himself into a trance.
Just making the water as hot as it gets and sitting as low that there's some kind of massage effect, and just going back and forth so that the water goes up and down my back and kind of I got the cramps out of the muscles, but as you can tell, I came out of this thing completely unfazed. And I don't know how I was able to nurture this cough throughout the entire rest of the week. I mean, Disney was on Monday. It's now Sunday, and I still run around with a scarf and have my cough drops to suck on.
But either way, that was that week, and then this week's been pretty much just getting back into normalcy and working on stuff and not having to worry about a con. So yeah, that was my weekend. We already heard from you that your week was just full of nothing.
Indeed. So I believe this was during the pre-show, so let me reiterate. I came back on Wednesday, arriving on Wednesday. Yeah, and I mean, I watched My Hero Academia an entire second time, like binge watched it. I binge watched Big Mouth.
Oh, okay.
I binge watched Big Mouth. I forgot this on my list. Damn it. I watched other stuff which I might talk about, and I played a lot of Stardew Valley. And because I kind of got tired of Stardew Valley, like yesterday noon, and it was on sale. I got myself War for the Overworld, and I played this yesterday and today. So from those 5 days of vacation I had left, I didn't do anything. Like, nothing.
So why don't you talk about your media, sweetheart? Because at least watching something can be qualified as a verb.
Yes. Let me just get this one here. I can't.
Everyone's asking, why did you do that, ANY? Peer pressure?
Nah, the second time around maybe. The first time was not peer pressure. The first time was just stupidity.
I still say in some ways it was worth it. Next time we should do it, but just have a change of clothes.
That's the thing. It would all have been fine if I just would have changed immediately after it, before I could freeze, before the coldness could seep into me. But yeah, what? So I watched a little bit, or I have a few media to present today, like 10.
Okay.
And I will 10. I will probably do like I don't have too much to say about most of them, so I will just do a quick I will just do a quick lightning round. Because yeah, I had two international flights, this time, thankfully, unlike last time, with an actual screen and a library in front of me, so I could watch movies and catch up on some movies I haven't seen. Well, and then we had this entire week of nothing, where I also watched a little bit of stuff. So, let me get started. First of all, I watched Modern Times from and with Charlie Chaplin, which is a fascinating movie in that regard that you probably know this tune. I will sing it for you, Key, so that you can hear it as well. This.
Yes, I know this tune.
Indeed. So this tune seems to be, at least from what I get, seems to be from this movie, and this was really the first impression from the movie. Like, wow, this is one of the archetypes that influenced so much to this day. Like this tune, you know this tune, and it's from this movie. And also, this must have been from the time where Charlie Chaplin already was a big one, because look at those insane props. Like with the giant gear and shit. It's an interesting watch. I would really say if you are on a 10-hour flight and it's in the library, or if it appears on Netflix one day, it's really interesting to watch it, because it's actually, even from today's standards, it's not uninteresting to watch or boring or something. Next one, I finally got to see Logan.
Yeah, okay. I do remember, I think this is the one you watched when we were on the plane from Paris to LA.
Indeed. Because this was kind of a movie where a lot of people are like, wow, it's so good, it's R, isn't it R-rated? I mean, he does with those claws what one would do with such claws if it wouldn't be kids program or comics or whatever. Because, yeah, those are knives. He has long, very sharp knives he is splicing people with. And, yeah, so he finally got to use his claws as it's supposed to be. I'm not sure how to feel about the story itself, to be honest. I'm not sure if this is an actual arc that happens in the comics as well. I keep it spoiler free for everybody. I'm not sure. I mean, I know that the girl is an actual character from the comics, which I also found very interesting during the comics as well. It's a very realistic tone, as realistic as it can be, given that we are talking X-Men. But yeah, we have aspects like apparently this entire mutant thing was just a fluke. We had a bunch of mutants and now they're gone again. Like they already disappeared again. Like, what? I was very confused by the setup itself. How we got into this weird future where mutants, which in other iterations of X-Men is like the next generation, the next step of human evolution, are now gone. Like, did we devolution? Did we go through a devolution? What happened to all the characters? I mean, okay, Logan, healing things, so he doesn't age like normal people, but other characters are still around. So therefore, what happened to the younger ones? Have they all been murdered?
Yay, Jubilee's dead. Yay, Jubilee is dead.
Somebody has a traumatic experience with the cartoons. But yeah, what about Kitty Pryde? What about Nightcrawler? Yeah, weird. I was confused by the setup. The movie in and of itself, good movie. Like watching it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Wish I would have seen it in something better than the tiny screen with the reduced quality in... Yuri is telling they basically got sick and died. Wow!
That's anticlimactic.
So apparently there is an actual official lore to, like, wow. Next step of human evolution: get sick and died. This is kind of
Darwin was wrong, apparently.
Yeah, so it's kind of anticlimactic there, but yeah, good watch. Would still recommend.
Okay, next thing. Oh, okay.
Okay, what I want to say first of all. To get the annoying part out of the way, yes, you see how the minions take up a bigger and bigger part in those movies, and those parts are the weakest part of the movie. In Despicable 3, there is an entire subplot dedicated to the minions, which is pointless. 100% pointless. We have no reason to follow you know what, screw it. I don't think that anybody can spoil it when I tell about those aspects of the movie. So the minions leave Groot, get arrested, are in prison, break out, meet back with Groot. And we constantly go back to them and their shenanigans for no reason. They are not that funny. They are basically, back in the day, good old Dr. Insano. What's his actual name? Noah Antweiler. He still has another... Spoonie, the Spoonie one, right. So, Spoonie said about Dr. Insano, which was one of his fan-favorite personas, the mad scientist on the internet, he was like, Dr. Insano is only fun in small doses, and this is the reason why he was kind of kept him sparse. Tried to not include him too often. He understood that a shrill, annoying character is only funny in small doses. Whatever the company is, I forgot it again, Illumination. Illumination does not get this concept. Illumination is milking this shrill, colorful, annoying cow until it is dry and dead. But I want to say something positive about the movie. This probably falls under guilty sins. I kind of like the villain. I mean, I already liked the villain in the first one, but what I do like about Despicable Me villains, including Groot, they are very colorful. They are extreme characters in a over the topness that is, I don't know. It shows a certain aspect of. I don't want to call it creativity, but fantasy. Let's just call it a certain aspect of fantasy that went into the creation of those characters.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, put that, please. Oh, okay.
I also finally came around, once again on the plane, watching the real-life adaptation of Beauty and the Beast with the Watson Emma. First thing I noticed during the first scene, like the Bonjour song, was... okay, here's the thing. The movie, I have good things and bad things to say about it. You for example, have this Bonjour number, which is like one of the most energetic, like, Bonjour, Bonjour, da 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 da, and you see Belle in this big contrast, like being really completely in her book. And I mean, there are lines in the song describing how she always has her nose in a book. And in this version, it's Emma Watson holding her book, walking through town. Like you lost the she was not Belle. She was just there, a tourist looking around, and she had this problem. I mean, people already talked about the deadness of her performance in this, but now I see what people have been talking about. She really, often other scenes, she's just standing there having her arms like hanging on her side, which is in and of itself not bad, but if you call back like Belle running up the hill, doing the twirl like, I want to have more in life.
I want to adventure in the great wide somewhere.
And wind blowing, and she's like, yeah. And Emma was just standing there, I want to run, fight, like, so this original animated number had so much energy, and this one didn't at all. And here, the famous ballroom scene, it looked so dead and empty. I'm not sure if the cinematography was bad or whatever, but this most iconic scene of the original animated movie was so bland and underwhelming in the real life adaptation. And then they danced, they twirled a few times around each other, and then they were like whoop in line, holding hands, walking through the balcony to the balcony, and then continued their dialogue. I'm not sure how they did it in the original, that if they just made a jump cut to the balcony or whatever, but it felt so choreographed, you know what I mean, and unnatural how they moved out there. So, those were the bad parts. However, there were also good parts. For example, the biggest grind all the people have with the opening of the original was like, this fairy bitch that comes and is basically condemning an entire palace of people because the 13-year-old boy, because he can't be older given the narration, this 13-year-old boy was a dick by not leaving a stranger into his house. And many people were like, this is messed up. This good fairy is actually an evil witch, and the beast is just a victim, and all the people. In the movie, they kind of first of all, they aged him up, so he's not a tiny boy. He's clearly a more mature, like 20-year-old person, who is literally a dick to the old lady. So we see it play out. It's not just stained glass windows. We see him act out and being a complete dick to her. So it's a lot more understandable that she curses him in the first place. Also, they later kind of rewind the story that it has not been 10 years or something that he was hiding in his castle. It seems to have happened like 2 years ago? I don't know, 1 year? Because the fairy wiped the memories of all the village people. And at the end, when the curse is broken, the village people are like, oh yeah, that's our prince, now we remember, the curse is broken. So they literally revised all this in a, do I dare to say it, in a far better way? It is now, the fairy is no longer a dick to a small preteen child. Apparently the entire curse lasted a lot shorter. So I would say they improved there, and there were small elements where they actually God, I can't talk today. Like split from the original story and did a few original ideas, and some of them worked as well. Others didn't. Overall, probably not a must see. It's nice to compare it, but I dare to say, except for the opening, it is the inferior version. And I like looking at Emma Watson, so.
All the animation of like freaking the household items, just when I look at them, they just make me feel uncomfortable. They don't look aesthetically pleasing at all.
No, that's true.
And when they're like 80% of your cast, you have a problem here.
But
what's your thing? We're foreign.
Good Game.
Good Game.
Oh, we watched Good Game together.
This one I can contribute to.
Yeah, thanks to Keyframe's YouTube Red, because I always was like, eventually I get YouTube Red, and then I check out this show and stuff. Well, while we watched it, we checked also out YouTube Red availability, and apparently it's available in 6 or 5 countries around the entire globe. Canada is not even one of them, for reasons.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up the ones that are
China, available. I believe. China, USA?
No. Hold on. I'm looking it up. Australia, Korea, Mexico, New Zealand, and the United States.
5. Glorious
No
5.
Canada.
And it was
No
not China,
France,
it was Korea.
No
okay.
UK. No Japan.
No Germany.
No Germany.
And you guess what else discovered this week? And another very interesting looking show. Like I believe, who was it? I believe game theorists or movie theorists sent me to a different channel who did a YouTube Red show, and I watched the first episode, which once again was watch for free, and I was like, yeah, this show looks fucking interesting. But thanks to the fact that I live in Germany, I literally can't watch it. I literally can't. Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you, YouTube Red, for putting this stuff behind a paywall and then not even allowing us to pay money and watch it. I mean, how did Fry say so nicely? Shut up and take my money. But no, they don't want my money. European money is not good for YouTube, apparently.
Yeah, so what were your thoughts on Good Game, dear?
Here's the thing. I mean, I love Jesse Cox, and this is his writing. I love Dan Harmon, who was also producing this. Dan Harmon, the Rick and Morty guy. I liked it. I had a good time. I was not bored. But I felt a little bit underwhelmed. I don't know. I mean, the characters all did good acting, so it must have come down to the stories themselves. And I would have hoped for more. I still would be like, yeah, watch it. It's a show from gamers for gamers. And not a show about, yes, it is a show, but like acting, like a TV show, like a not sitcom, but an actual show, not a reality whatnot show. And it has a Game Grumps.
I mean, I have to say I'm not surprised with Aaron, because Aaron's a voice actor, but I guess he does have good screen presence. Like, he's actually a charismatic screen actor.
Ninja Sex Party guy.
No, Aaron, the one with the blonde streak in his hair.
One with the
The one in the absolute front, that is Aaron.
Booger Boss.
Yes, Ryland, and then the one next, and then the poofy-haired one, that's Danny from Ninja Sex Party, who plays Alex, who he is way too good at playing that character.
Still so fascinating to consider that those two characters were originally planned in reversed roles, and they only revised their roles by already starting to write scripts.
Yep.
Trying to imagine how this entire show would be with those two in reversed roles.
I can't imagine Aaron being that happy-go-lucky.
And on the other hand, the Ninja Sex Party guy to be the grumpy, like, bruh.
Oh, God. I mean, there was moments in the show where Danny was able to be kind of, like, angry and stuff. I can see it, but I don't think I could see it for more than short bursts of when he finally snaps.
Yeah. Also, holy shit! I just see the time. If you have YouTube Red, watch it. Moving on. Yeah, War of the Older World. I finally started playing it. To say about this, the one thing that everybody else said, I tested it out firsthand, and I can say yes, it is the spiritual successor to Dungeon Keeper 2 and 1 as well, I guess. This is the never released Dungeon Keeper 3. It has the same feel. They came up with a few original ideas that divert from Dungeon Keeper 2, which are all good. Let's just say it. They came up with a few items and spells that you really... I'm not sure if I ever can go back to Dungeon Keeper 2 without those items. It's, good. If you like Dungeon Keeper, get this, play it. It's a real deal. It feels like the good old times. Moving on. One thing I saw on the plane as well, Going in Style, with Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine and the third guy, who probably is also a known actor. Plot synopsis, very quickly said. Those 3 old guys got screwed over by a bank, and therefore they decide to rob the bank.
Okay.
Not professional gangsters or anything. They are just 3 old dudes who basically decide the bank screwed us, so we screw the bank. They are not fit. They have no special skills that qualify them to be bank robbers. But that's what they do. And it's Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and the third dude is actually also pretty amazing. So, recommending it. Clear recommendation. It's a funny movie with those people. It's absolutely watchable. Moving on. I finally got around watching Toy Story 3.
Finally?
Yeah, finally. I mean, it came out on Netflix a while ago. I haven't seen it today. I have it now because I watched it after I came back because on Netflix. I have heard good stuff about this movie a long time. Everybody was like, wow, it's so amazing. And yeah. And once again, spoiler free, the dark theme or the themes of the movie are horribly dark. And only the fact that those are colorful, happy toys living through this is in any way making this a family movie, because the themes they touch on are some of the really, really dark stuff. Holy crap. This kindergarten is like a kindergarten, I tell you guys, this kindergarten. Do you have anything to say about it, or?
I really like this movie. I mean, I prefer Toy Story 2 over it, but I still think this is one of Pixar's best. And for being one of 3 animated films to actually be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, this one did deserve its nomination. Because the other 2 did, because the other 2 were Up and Beauty and the Beast. So this is a really good movie. Fucking dark when you actually... I think it's the darkest Pixar has gotten.
Yeah. Once again, because they are toys, they can get away with it. But do this with characters from Up? And no.
No. No. But Toy Story 3 is a good movie.
Yeah. But
if you haven't watched it yet, then you're weird.
It's on Netflix, I can confirm this. But yeah, amazing that this is the 3rd part of the franchise and it still does not suck at all. It's like really good.
Now let's see how they do Toy Story 4.
Yeah, there was no reason for it. I mean, they already, as you can tell by this poster, they already cut down the cast massively since the last one. So
I mean, they even a point to talk about it in the movie.
Yeah, they talk about how, tiny spoiler maybe? It gets explained in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
This movie is 7 years old if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so basically all of the old toys that are not... Oh no, there are a few more that you don't see here. Here are mostly the new ones. But the majority of... I mean, you remember Andy's playroom with overflowing with toys. And we basically only have like a dozen left. And because he grew up and gave them away in yard sales and so on. So, yeah.
I think, like they say in the movie, it's like they got rid of Wheezy, the RC racer car, and Bo.
Basically everybody you don't see in the movie. They only list a few ones that had names before, but think about the first movie. All the toys that made up the entire floor when Woody had his speech in the beginning. All of them gone, except for a handful. Anyways, moving on. So... As Kiefer and I already pointed out, we turned trash in the last 2 weeks.
Begrudging trash, I want to add.
Begrudging trash enough that you enjoyed, that you were actually thankful for the poster.
I was thankful for the poster. I'm still not thankful for that Christmas special.
Oh god, the Christmas special. Ooh. But yeah, I mean, I already talked about this show on my last Awkward. And at this point in time, we only had watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes. However, we continued watching it. we at one
And you
evening.
liked it.
At one evening, we were basically sitting here in front of the computer and like we actually turned it into a drinking game, or we looked up a drinking game on TV tropes for this.
Not
It
a
is-
good idea. We went through a bottle of wine each.
Yep. But it's surprisingly charming when you continue watching it, when you get through the original cringiness and animation style, low budget CGI animation you need to get used to. It develops a certain charm, and you continue watching it. And eventually you reach the end of season 1 and you are like, where are more episodes?
Yeah. Then we found the Christmas special.
Oh, this cured us for a moment. The Christmas
Oh.
special between the seasons is horrible. It's outright horrible. So
In a beautiful way, though, because we were drinking like this kind of disgusting dragon fruit drink.
what was this doing?
And we
is
were
this-
yeah, we watched it during the con. We were drinking the dragon fruit. We were watching it, and we were like, "Make it stop!" The
So
moment
they-
where Santa Claus started singing.
So first they turned it into a musical, which in and of itself I'm very okay with, theoretically. But the songs were so bad.
Merry Christmas, Chloe.
Merry Christmas, Mariette, but I still hate you. Like, and God, still the one really bad thing about this show is Chloe, who is just the most hateable character in existence. Like, period.
Yes, she got so much. I haven't seen season 2 yet. Okay,
She's-
so I haven't. I've seen the first episode of season 2. I haven't continued, but oh God, like the last few episodes kind of dragged me with Chloe, especially the anti-bug episode.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, she is just an annoying teenage brat. But they make her so despicable evil, it's ridiculous. Like, how...
The villains in the show multiple times point out what a terrible person she is.
She literally has no friends, but is okay with it, apparently.
Yet she's still so popular and has a hand over everyone. She doesn't, in real life, she would not have friends.
She doesn't in the show either. And she...
But in real life, she would have much less power.
Yeah, and she literally causes half of the villains to become villains. She
Oh,
herself.
yeah, because
and,
she's
and-
a rule in the drinking game.
Yes, it's a rule in the drinking game that when she is the cause of somebody turning evil. And often enough, the evil guys take direct revenge on her. And she still doesn't change.
The origin story episode, where we see Cat Noir and Ladybug's origins, the first monster of this series, was because of Chloe.
This character, she's so over the top evil. It's...
I know. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on, but at the end of the day, I still would say, for people who can watch this genre and are not like, I can't watch a magical girl show, whatever, and who get past the CGI, it has a certain charm to it. I wouldn't say general audience must watch, but at the end of the day, yeah, I liked it. I got myself this poster.
Yeah.
And last but not least, yeah, I binge watched Big Mouth.
I'm interested to hear this opinion.
Because I heard by many people, oh, how much they hate it. Funny thing, I also watched I Hate Everything's take on it, and I was kind of afraid that he would be like complaining about that the humor didn't sit well with him, or that the art style. Okay, he has something to say about the art style, but it was for many people I heard that they are like, boy, it looks so ugly, I can't watch it. Which is, yeah, it's a it's a pretty ugly art style, but there are other shows that also look shit, and it's not necessarily yes, a beautiful looking show helps making it watchable, but just because a show is ugly doesn't make it unwatchable. But no, I Hate Everything had actually a lot of reasonable, good critique about the writing, the inconsistencies, and so on, where I'm like, I can't disagree with anything he said. He has a lot of good points. On the other hand, I was able to watch it. I didn't feel the hate guy, Alex is his name, isn't it?
Yep.
Alex complains where like, yeah, that's probably the stuff he would watch if he was a 13-year-old, but well, he isn't, so, and he was unsure for whom it was made. I mean, I believe you, Key, told me that it was made by the old people in homage to their own anecdotes, to what happened to them, to basically for themselves and other people who already are far past puberty to laugh about it in hindsight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has a very immature, gross out humor, which probably doesn't sit too well with too many older people, but I didn't have a problem with it. I found it interesting enough. I don't have anything big against it, but I'm also, you wouldn't count me a fan. So it was, I watched it. It was interesting enough.
I legitimately really like the show, and so does Lauren.
You are trash people.
But we mostly like the hormone monsters. We think that they're the best part of the show.
They are pretty cool.
They have some of the best lines in the show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, but I mean, it's an understandable opinion. I at least you gave it a chance. I know some people who kind of just look the first 20 seconds and then.
I would say I gave it more than a chance. I was like, yeah, I binge watched it.
I'm saying in the general term of chance, because I mean, Golden watched like 30 seconds of it and was like, I hate this show, and I'm like, okay, you see a couple of dicks playing basketball and you automatically hate the show. I see how it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess we are moving on to your medium.
Yes. And this is the thing Yuri's been waiting for. Justice League.
Yeah.
Do you have that thing in your life, like the one show or movie or thing that may not be the worst thing in the world, but just annoys you to no end, and you can't really explain why? Justice League is mine.
Just say me when I have to put on the spoiler warning.
I'm not going to I'm going to try to be as little spoilery as possible, but let me give you an image. When the credits were over, which, by the way, they used "come together" in the credits, I wasn't happy.
I believe nobody except you and maybe another Beatles dweeb like Abby actually got annoyed by it, but please go on. I can imagine that if it would be a song, a cover of a song I really liked, I might have been pissed as well.
Yeah, so the credits were over, everything was done, everyone was getting up to leave, and I just say out loud, "Oh my God, that sucked." And I was so annoyed leaving the theater. I was just so not happy. Like, a lot of people are like, it was okay. But I just felt like, it felt like two different movie scripts got scrounged together, and it felt so unbalanced, and you can tell what was one director and what was the other director. And that unbalanced...
Basically, the weird spiritual stuff that we already know from the previous movies is Zack Snyder's writing, obviously. And the character moments with actual humor are Josh Whedon.
Yeah, and then, I was just... It breaks your immersion when the characters themselves don't feel like they fit in the same movie. It feels like you took 3 different jigsaw puzzles and threw all the pieces together and were told, make one puzzle out of it. Barry Allen, like the Flash, he doesn't even feel like he belongs in this movie, but he was the best character.
Absolutely, he was great.
And then there was moments where it felt like we had two different Batmans and two different Aquamans.
Josh Whedon, Zack Snyder.
The only two consistent characters were Wonder Woman and Cyborg. Which, by the way, they do a Teen Titans reference at the end of the movie with Cyborg. Oh my god, I hated that. It was pandering at its finest. Wonder Woman was fine. You can't really fuck up Wonder Woman because she was made good. Superman was the worst thing in this movie.
Yeah.
He was the absolute Mary Sue fan fiction person who just wants to jack off the super dick. Love letter to Superman. I'm not going to say when this happens in the movie. I guess you could count this as spoilers.
I guess I was tempted to count it as spoiler, but the problem is somebody put him in the posters, so the surprise that he returns is not really a spoiler anymore.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the return part. The villain of this movie is basically a god, or something along those lines. The superhero who has the blood of the gods inside of her, and the king of Atlantis, which, by the way, this is two of the three things in this movie that are like, these hold the boxes that stop the world from going into Armageddon. Can't defeat this guy while working together, but one punch from Superman just KOs the dude.
Superman throws him around like a ragdoll.
And then, this was the moment that made me kind of just get growling, was all of the Justice League people are fighting Superman because Superman has amnesia or some shit. And he's just completely decimating. He stops Wonder Woman from doing this, which, bullshit, how the fuck? The only one who can stand a toe with him is Cyborg, but even he gets defeated, even though Cyborg is literally running on the hell spawn thing that the whole movie's conflict is based around. But the thing that got me the most, that I just was like, yep, this is the worst Superman ever. The Flash, whose entire ability is, and they show it really well in the movie, to be fair, of how the Flash's power is, which is cool looking. He runs so fast, he stops time for him. But not to Superman! Now, if this was just that they can move at the same speed when running and stuff, fine, which they do in the post-credits as a haha funny joke. But no, Superman can stand still and look at Barry Allen while he's in the whole Flash mode. Apparently has super speed eyes. I hated the Superman. The Superman ruined the movie.
I have to totally agree with this point, and as Yuri says, this is the depending on where you look, this actually is canon for Superman to be completely OP. As Nelson says, he does not have access to the Speed Force, but it has been confirmed that he has super speed by himself. But even if it is confirmed in the comics, I recall that watching some of the animated DC movies, and there's also one where Superman is like, oh yeah, I'm letting loose when he fights Brainiac in one of the many iterations. He's like, yeah, I finally can let loose in a battle with you, and it also gets basically confirmed that he is this kind of super OP, like overpowered without end, that he is his own league, which is in and of itself stupid already if you think about it. He's just an alien, and he just is so strong because apparently our sunlight is helping him. But the amount to which he is stronger than anybody else, as you said, including a literal god spawn, is, and I have seen iterations where Batman and Wonder Woman are at least in the same league strength wise. So if Wonder Woman would have the help of another super strong fighter like Aquaman, she would be able to overpower Superman in the iterations of Superman I like more, at least. And yeah, his complete opaqueness was something that completely broke any immersion for me, because it was like, what's the point of anything? What's the point of any other character in the entire DCEU? He is so quick, he can fix everything. He is so much stronger than any other person in existence. I mean, there are people who are get super angry whenever Batman is getting close to beating Superman. Because Batman is just a normal human, he can't beat Superman. This is ridiculous. There are people who get completely thrown off the rail whenever this comes up. But yeah, the Batman in the DCEU is weak. He's literally weak. He's really. I wondered more than once during the movie, yeah, what is his point except bringing the people together? And even this he didn't do. He's building on Luthor's data he stole in the last movie. He
was supposed to be this movie's like Nick Fury, but he couldn't do that.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and he's slow. He is slow as Batman, or at least he looks slow. I'm not entirely sure if Christian Bale was any quicker in his movements, but the cinematography
to be fair,
is
they
not.
kind of made that a crux of his character because he is supposed to be an older Batman.
Yeah, but still. Adam, is it still spoilers? No, I guess not.
No.
To say one positive thing about the movie, because I was one of the people who were like shitting about the fact that they basically, in their universe, they had the one Superman movie, which was an introduction movie, which was fine in and of itself, if you liked it or not. It was as a first entry in this entire universe. It was fine. Then we had BVS, which I already hated for the fact that Batman just goes thrown in there as an established hero without any backstory. I mean, look at Spider-Man Homecoming. You don't need to go through the entire backstory for a character. You can take shortcuts, but at least give them their own introduction in a movie, or do it like Spider-Man that he's really only a supportive 5-minute character in one movie, and the next movie is actually the chronological next one. This is perfect. This was done right. And that they did the same thing with Batman, but making him the half of the namesake of the movie in BVS, and without any background or introduction or anything, was just shit. And I was like, yeah, great. They theoretically did the same thing for Wonder Woman, and then did a prequel to explain her backstory, which was. Wonder Woman movie was good, so I can't be too angry about it, but at the end of the day, it was still a shitty move to introduce a character, give the introducing movie after the original one. But yeah, in her case, I guess it kind of worked. But yeah, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash, this is really their debut movie.
At least Cyborg and The Flash could have been established, but you could have made an Aquaman.
But yeah, I make this argument because it gets pointed out in this movie that The Flash so far has not been active as a superhero. He did little things here and there, but he was not active as The Flash as a hero. Just hiding away in a very obscure spot of the world, helping some humans, but did not do big stuff. He was hiding. And Cyborg basically also got just created and was also in hiding. So their origin as superheroes actually took place in this movie, and none of them, I mean, obviously you could have written an entire movie about each of them prior to Justice League, but they actually got their introduction into the world in this movie. So this is one complaint I had about the movie up front without having seen it, where I can say like, no, actually for those three characters, this was their introduction in the world of superheroes.
Yeah, so I don't really have much more to say about Justice League. It's not the worst of the DCU. That will still go to Suicide Squad. But it's not good.
Suicide Squad versus BVS.
I think with the sheer amount of bastardized characters that came from Suicide Squad, I think it beats it.
I guess maybe.
But why don't you answer a question yourself? Because I need to pee.
What? It's not even the post show.
We've been talking for like an hour.
Only I am allowed to pee, and only during the post show.
Well, you know what? I'm breaking the rules. What are you gonna do about it?
Unbelievable. I can't work like this. So let's see. Do we have personalized question only to myself? That would be helpful at this point. No, we don't. Look at this empty chair. So here's the funny thing. We have basically 3 times the same question. All came in the last 2 days. I'm not entirely sure if there is a conspiracy going on. So basically, Denim Ninja asked if you could wake up in an anime world one day, which one would it be? Then we had Master Code asking if you could live in any fictional universe, where would it be and why? The why part is always good, liking the why part. And we got a third one by Mark Rogue, who also asks, is there any anime or cartoon you consider one of your favorites? And if you could pick just and if you could pick just one anime world or cartoon world to live in, what is it? So
did 3 people ask pretty much the same question?
Yeah, basically it boils down to fictional world from cartoon and or anime you could live in. Which one would it be? I mean, I could be completely boring and go with My Hero Academia, but because it's the one I watched rather recently, so it's in my memory, and I
would pick that, but I feel like I would be that one from that. So this is basically I'm the one with the quirk that turns your head into a cactus.
Yeah, if that's the thing. You have an 80% chance to become some kind of supernatural ability, which is questionable if this term is correct, because if 80% of the people have one, is it still supernatural? But yeah, you could end up with a really crappy one. So maybe alternatively, I would say Ladybug, Miraculous Ladybug in Cat Noir World. Waking up there one morning.
You could become a villain, and everything gets fixed for you at the end.
No. My plan would more be like going to Chloe, punch her in the face until she stops being a bitch, and then traveling back to Germany, far away from this entire miraculous shenanigans in Paris. Because apparently villains don't travel outside of Paris.
But I guess I would pick... The thing is that the whole thing is I can't put myself into the place of a character. So it would just be I would be a normal bystander in this universe. And half the time it's like, what's the difference besides increased risk of death?
So probably pick an anime world in which even the bystanders have a cool thing. Or a fantasy one where you can live in a fantasy world.
I guess Avatar would still be it, because I have a good chance of being able to bend something.
And not to forget that even non-benders seem to be can develop pretty awesome skills as they can go toe-to-toe with benders. So
exactly. So Avatar, it's close enough to anime. Yeah.
And it's a cool world with a lot of steampunk going on there. So yeah, I can see this.
Though I would say if I had to pick a Western animated universe, I would probably pick the Looney Tunes universe, because then I have the full range of cartoon physics and logic, and that is a power I, of all people, should not have.
You want to be hit by an ambush constantly on the head?
Yeah, but then I could just blow into my thumb and I would reinflate myself. And then I could, pull out pies and have dynamite in the middle from behind me. It's like, that is a wonderful universe.
Here's an interesting one by Samantha Amber Powell.
Okay.
Also known as Hylian Mage Wolf 5. This might be our Wolf Mage 553.
Third indie player.
If you could switch bodies with an opposite gendered friend of yours, who would it be and why? First of all, I guess for once it should probably be the opposite sexed friend, because an opposite gendered friend could just be another male who thinks he's a woman. That would be a pointless body switch.
I don't know. See, the thing is, if you just said an opposite gendered person, but now that I know that it's my friend, I feel like I would feel bad for anything that I would do in that body.
So it's a question, who would you pick?
Oh, I would still pick you.
Okay, and the why? Is there a why part in the question? Oh yeah, there's no friend. Who would it be and why? Ha! People learn with the and why at the
Why?
end.
Well, simple. I like Berlin. I like being in that area, and then if I was switched bodies with you, I would be in that area.
You would simply steal my life.
I hope it would probably just be for a day.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't look. It's either that or I visit you more. So this is obviously the more logical choice. I don't know. I have famous friends, so I could switch bodies with them and take their money. No, I choose
Also-
you.
Huh?
I said I could, but I don't.
That's good. I guess I would go with Kichi.
Okay.
Being a tall, black, strong woman.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. I mean, look at how white I am. Being black for once would be a thing, and I don't have to give up my athleticism. Language today.
And let's
And my
face
son.
it, he's the whitest black person we've ever met.
Kichi is pretty white for a black person. Not color-wise,
This is
but...
the whole reason we came up with the time travelers just become black. Was because of Kichi.
I mean, she is pretty black skin-wise, but personality,
She's white.
Yeah, she's so white.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a question next. From our resident question asker, Enigma Royal Prince.
Yay! We probably should keep in mind to put the remaining ones we don't answer today into the thingy.
Will do. Ask Awkward. With the year almost gone, what and who are you thankful for even though Thanksgiving's over? And what things or events do you want to always remember yet also forget and regret ever having happened? Wow, that got really sad at the end.
Maybe we start with the sad part and move on to the happy part? So it ends on a positive note? I mean, we don't have to go too deep into personal things, so...
Yeah, I mean, I would argue, to put dark humor in this, I think what I wish never happened this year is pretty damn obvious.
Yeah, so besides that...
I don't know, I mean...
Any life decisions you regret or something?
No.
Besides meeting me?
No. No, honestly, like, everything that was bad that happened in this year was revolving around the one big thing. So, it's just the simple fact of that. But that one big thing is also one of the worst things someone can go through. So, there you go.
But yeah, no regrets about leaving yoga class in during the 5th grade or something.
Okay, I thought we were just talking about this year.
Oh, did it say this year?
The year is almost gone, so what are you thankful for?
Oh, good point.
So that's what. No, if I had to talk about my regrets in life, I got plenty.
Only this year, okay. Ah, goddammit, I copied the one we just answered. Good.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been having a good time during this podcast. I don't know if I want to get sad because these are the kind of questions that stick with you throughout the day.
Okay.
So I'm just going to move on to the thing I'm happy for. No, if I had to say if I'm thankful for anything or what was great within the year, it would probably be the fact that this year I had some of the biggest opportunities to do things than I've ever had in the past few years. I mean, in this year alone, I traveled overseas twice, which I never thought I would be able to do. I, made thousands of dollars at conventions. I have a full-time job. I have a lot to be thankful for. And I mean, to be mushy, the biggest thing I'm thankful for is the fact that I was able to spend so much time with this bastard in person this year. Given the fact that we've been friends for almost 4 years, and this is the most time that we've spent in person with each other, it's amazing, and I don't want that to end. It's awesome.
Alright. It's my
Are
turn
you
now.
thankful for anything, you callous little bastard?
This is not gone. Stuff who are thankful for, things or events you want. Things or events do you want to always remember and also forget and regret having been happened. Oh my. I might want to forget about this sickness 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, probably.
This was something, and I do regret the goddamn water slide, not slide, but the water.
And and what about? Would you also want to forget the doctor that you went to after this sickness from 2 weeks ago?
Oh god, this incompetent hack. This was amazing, in its own way. So. My mom and my sister are both doctors, and I told them what the doctor I went to told me, and they were like, this is against regulations what she did there. Look her up and basically Yelp for doctors. Like, look if you can find her there. I found her. She had the worst critics ever. And yeah, basically she's an absolutely horrible and sucky doctor, and the sad thing is that she apparently is sharing her office with somebody who has super good reviews. So and she was a substitute. So I went there to the office of this really good doctor and picked this crappy one. But at the end of the day, it didn't really do anything much. So I have already forgotten about her if you wouldn't have brought it up again. So but yeah, this was a fun happening. This year, things I regret, not getting off my ass to be more productive on private stuff. I mean, yeah, this podcast started this year, which is probably something positive that I'm proud for and thankful for. That you basically. I don't manage to do this kind of stuff alone, so I need somebody who basically does this in tandem with me. So. That's the thing. Similar thing with gaming and ties. Thanks to Yuri for that. That he basically keeps me there on track, because otherwise this would probably die as much as me uploading the episodes die. Because I forgot once again yesterday to upload a new Let's Play. I have a gigantic backlog of Let's Plays that I can't upload. Another friend of mine who is also active as a Let's Player was like. Dude, did you intentionally upload an hour-long video there? And I'm like, yeah, if I would split them even smaller, I would never be done. They would never get uploaded in the first place. I need to cut them to 1 hour pieces, or they never will see the light of day. And he's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, this is something I do regret, but on a constant, whatever. On a continuing level, God, I really have to go for the small words today. Big words are beyond me. That I
What about the good things?
Good things. Overall, 2017 was a good year for me, I would say. I mean, I moved to my new flat at the end of 2016. Nevertheless, I got all my remaining stuff here in January. So I really only moved completely in here during this year. Even so, I'm already having my eyes on a certain different flat. I will probably not get it because somebody else who did not call dibs has a very good reason to get it before me. But still, in general, I like this flat. I like this flat here. Job-wise, also I moved to... yes, Yuri, I'm talking about yours. I want your flat.
Okay.
Nevertheless, yeah, the job develops good as well. At least on a personal level, that the changes already started at the end of 2016 as well. That I moved to a new team, but we had this big project that finally came to a conclusion. All this stuff, and it is now more relaxed. This came up during the recent few months, that it became a little bit more relaxed at work, which once again plays into the thing that I regret, that I don't do anything with the more time I have besides Let's Play and podcast, which are production value wise not really top tier. Those are usually more the side products on a channel and not the only product. While I still have this great new show in the works, or at least I hope it will be great. But yeah, it's in the works for half a year, and the first episode has not been done yet. So yeah.
We got a new editor. Come on.
We got a new editor. Fingers crossed that maybe at some point in the near future, That's Stupid will be a thing. I believe this is the first time I named the title, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, gosh, even when you're trying to talk about good things in your life, you sound depressing.
I'm BoJack Horseman. I'm talking about how good a year 2017 I had, and it still turns out like, I'm real life BoJack Horseman, everybody. Except that I'm not a horse, I believe. I don't know. I guess, yeah, but good stuff. Basically, you in reverse, like traveling twice, even though I did it once last year as well, but traveling twice this year to convention to meet with friends, to meet friends again that I first time met at a convention last year. And at this point, I really, like the con last weekend showed, I barely even go there for the con anymore. I go there for meeting friends, being with people, having a good time. And that's a thing, that was very nice in 2017. This kind of stuff.
Wow. You are certainly eloquent.
Absolutely.
What, you're not thankful for me?
Kinda? Co-host and so? No,
Okay.
you are pet. There's there. You're a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I
just realized how over time we are. Okay. I mean, yes, we skipped one episode last week, but we basically already made up for it.
Yeah, but I feel like we need to end this on a question where you don't just trail off into a pool of sadness.
I didn't feel sad about it.
Well, it was kind of awkward.
That's true.